What your fear isn't is a red flag. That's not a problem. Consider that it's a sign of how deeply you want this next season to be different. What if you're not wrong for that guarded feeling of your heart, but right for it because you're recognizing the difference of what you don't want to do? I don't want to have that experience again from the past. You have an internal wise form of protection, and that's a good thing. Overwhelm, reaction mode, and just keeping up are the old way.
You need real, root-level strategies and practical steps to grow your business or ministry without exhaustion and burnout.
Hi there, we're Anna Saucier
And Megan Gephardt,
best friends and business consultants who help faith-filled women create sustainable growth through simple strategy with a people-first approach.
Here at Apostolic Fruit, we hope to offer you clarity, support, accompaniment, and healing,
one tiny step at a time. When you want to grow, but your heart still aches from the last time you got support, a coaching program, and you're scared to trust again. Well, you're not the only one in this, and you're not wrong to be cautious or guarded if past investments make you wary of support. This is an honest conversation about disappointment, healing what's hurt, rebuilding trust, and trying again. Welcome back to the Apostolic Fruit Podcast. I'm Anna Saucier. On the daily, we get to connect with so many women that make us feel so alive. And this is my favorite part of this work. I know almost in the first 5 minutes when I get on the call with someone, whether I'd love to just spend all day with that human to get to know who they are. And as I hear more of their story and the work that they're called to do in the world, I get even more excited when I know without a doubt that I can help them, that we're made for our gifts to kind of clash together. But we also talk with a lot of women who have been burned by business investments in the past. I want to actually read some words from a woman that is still in our sales process, discerning working with us. But here's what she shared. In full transparency, I actually had a huge business investment go really bad recently, and that has been very shaky. I feel like it shook the foundation of my whole business and family life, and it spills into our finances as a family, as a home. It felt like I was at a crossroads and knew that it could either go well and help me out of the hole I was in, or I'll need to shut everything down and pursue something different. And as we talked further, it was actually Megan who spoke with her directly, further about working with us at Apostolic Fruit. She shared how I'd be ready to start today. I love your podcast. It's truly a breath of fresh air. And working with you would be so helpful. I know it. I need to talk with my husband, take some time to pray over it, and look at the numbers to see how we could make it work. And I'm going to tell you, these experiences make me both very angry, brings up a lot of anger in me, and it brings up a lot of gratitude and relief in me. Because I have been in that space of feeling burned, feeling disappointed, feeling like I just invested. In some cases, I've spent tens of thousands of dollars for support, for coaching, for direction, and for consulting leadership. And it wasn't what I expected. So it brings up those sort of remembered feelings myself, but also all of the stories that I've heard from others who have had this experience. I also experienced this tremendous feeling of gratitude because we now, Megan and I, the way that we serve in Apostolic Fruit and the way that we show up in our marketing and sales and our client delivery, it now brings me hope and gratitude that we get to serve this person directly in the sales process and give them a very different experience than what belongs in that other paradigm. We get to encourage her to give herself guardrails, to, yes, please, go discuss that big investment with your husband, with discernment and peace. And I'm actually going to give you in this episode several questions you can use for your own discernment, because it's really hard to trust again when you've felt that betrayal from someone that you trusted to lead or something that promised more than it delivered. And it's really important to take the space for whatever is present. In the case of this woman and many people who have had this experience, you have this feeling of contraction, of holding back, of pulling back, of needing to test the safety boundaries of investing in yet another experience and putting your trust in another coach or consultant. And all of this makes so much sense, because even when everything feels really aligned and it sounds great and it sounds like we have the same values and aims and we really want to do this together, it's definitely hard to trust again when you've been hurt. So maybe you've been there too, right? Maybe you've made this kind of big investment. It didn't turn out how you've hoped. Maybe you were told you were the problem when things didn't work. This is another place of internal resistance when it comes to trying again. Because if that past coach or consultant or program didn't take ownership, come to the table with shared ownership over why it didn't work, and you were either explicitly or implicitly led to believe that it was your fault, first of all, that's not okay, and that's a conversation for another day. But secondly, it's going to make your internal experience resist trying again even more. Maybe you walked away with less money and more self-doubt. And the hardest part of this is when we start having this hardness of heart or a block around receiving any kind of support. If you can resonate with the phrase, I feel like it's all on me, then you're exactly who I'm talking to here. That is one that has played through my mind and so many of the clients we've worked with over and over and over again. And part of it is because of these experiences that we've been burned by in the past. So I would tell you till the cows turn blue. I think I'm mixing metaphors there, but you are most certainly not the problem. The frustration is real, the impact is real, and you deserve to be led better. And there's no shame in feeling afraid. It's really important to take the time to step back, to discern, and to feel it out. And even within that process, to go inside and to understand better what happened for you in those past experiences. What are you still carrying from those past experiences that maybe the Lord wants to heal right now? In every place where we have this kind of tension come to a head, where we have this internal experience of, I want this, but I want to do this. It feels really aligned, but I have a tension and a holding back and a conflict happening internally. Okay, great. That's not a problem. That's a place that we can look into more deeply to understand better, to move through it, and to create more of an integrated experience within yourself. And that's where we would want you to make that decision from, not from a place of scarcity, not from a place of, all right, I've just got to get over myself and invest in this because I don't know what else to do. I never want you to come into one of our programs from that place. We are here not to talk you out of your caution. You certainly don't need one more thing to fix you. And you don't need to override your body's wisdom or shove down the fear, because it's important to be present to whatever's coming up for you in this experience. And I would invite you to, wherever you have this kind of sales conversation experience and you feel like you're being pushed, you feel like you're not being encouraged for space to be held for your concerns and for your discernment, that's where I would invite you to walk away. Whether or not you say directly to that person, I don't like how this is going. This doesn't feel good to me. You're always welcome to just walk away, because you deserve a space. Even in marketing and sales process, you deserve a space where trust can be built, where your humanity is honored, and where your limits and pacing and discernment are fully taken into consideration, and when your self-leadership is strengthened. And that's what we do. And it's our goal. And I would invite you to think of the ways that you want to incorporate this as well. If we want to invite people into our ecosystem, let's call it, our main program is called The Garden. That's just a beautiful name. We just switched to that 2 months ago, and it's still incredible how it encompasses the way that we want to hold space for people. So whatever your programs or services are, then once they come into your program, you want them to feel held, right? You want them to feel a space of trust. You want them to also take ownership over their own decisions and over their results. So why wouldn't we begin in the marketing and sales process to do the same thing? And that's what we try to create in the spaces that we hold, to not have just another place where someone has to prove themselves, but a place to be able to breathe freely, a place where you can come as you are, being cautious and curious and maybe still a little raw too, to be met with grounded, strategic, and deeply honoring support that holds you without pressure. What your fear isn't is a red flag. That's not a problem. Consider that it's a sign of how deeply you want this next season to be different. What if you're not wrong for that guarded feeling of your heart, but right for it, because you're recognizing the difference of what you don't want to do? I don't want to have that experience again from the past. You have an internal wise form of protection, and that's a good thing. So before we close up, I want to share with you a few reflection questions. If you find yourself in this place of discernment about where and when and why to get support, full permission to slow yourself down. We all absolutely need support. We need other people doing this with us. I have a team. I have a coach. I know now more than ever I could never do this by myself. We need support, but the right kind of support is really important. Someone or something that's going to meet you in the way, not just the tactics, but the way that you need to be supported. So here are several questions that I would invite you to take to prayer, journal, and sit with the Lord and notice what you feel in your body as you ask them of yourself. Is this the support I need? Is this the support I need right now? I wonder what Jesus has to say about it. What has the cost been of waiting for support? Is there a cost of doing it alone? What's happening with me staying in the patterns that feel heavy, unsustainable, or misaligned? Am I being invited to try something different? And then just listen.
We hope you loved today's episode. If so, would you take a moment to share it with a friend?
If you haven't already, come connect with us human to human at apostolicfruit.com/connect. When you're ready, we'd love to support you more deeply.
May the Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you,
and turn his face toward you and give you peace.